Hi, in this video I will give you 10 tips on how to prepare for audits, meet the MDR requirements and get our CE mark. So first thing first, are you ready to be in a medical device industry that takes some time and money and a lot of patience? So before you write a single line of code, consider these things. And finally, if you want to go there, then do you have a strategy for developing either just a medical device or something that aims also for a reimbursement pathway? And that decision affects everything from software design to documentation. All right, so you have the money, patience, and a strategy. Tip number 2, the backbone, MDR. How much do you know about the MDR? It's a huge thing, but start small. Start with a technical documentation and a quality management system, and don't try to do everything at once. Instead, focus on establishing a documentation framework early on, preferably an EQMS to communicate with your software development environment so that there will be no silos, for example, the likes of SoftComply. Then implement core processes, the software lifecycle, cybersecurity, risk management, and usability ones. Remember, MDR compliance isn't just about paperwork, it's actually about getting your product on the market. And also check out BSI's booklet on MDR conformity assessment routes, because that really helps you in understanding how you could do it step by step. Okay, so tip number 3, and this comes from an auditor himself. They are not your enemies. Treat auditors and notified bodies as your friends. They are not there to ruin your life. Instead, they want to make sure that your device is safe and effective, because notified bodies themselves also take part of the responsibility for the release of your product on the market. But in terms of how to present your technical documentation to notified bodies, they need to have a documentation as physical evidence, something that needs to remain in their system and something that they can access at any point in time. So it has to stay with them. So that is an answer actually to a question of, can we just give them access to our Confluence? So the answer is no. They need to have these documents in a static form in their own system. Another tip from an auditor, don't treat QMS and technical documentation as separate entities. They should speak to each other and they should be relevant to what you're doing. Tip number 4. Really consider software tool validation, and it is manageable. Yes, Confluence, Jira, vulnerability scanners, debuggers, they all need to be validated if they impact your product or your quality system. But first think, what is the required approach to it? Start with a risk-based approach to validation. Don't try to validate everything all the time or validate tools that actually do not need to be validated. Adopt the risk-based approach, and you can learn all about that in validation guidance documents. There are lots from FDA, from pharma, IEC 80002-2 and so on. And if you could create your own SOP based on your tool's criticality, that really helps the auditors also. So again, validation doesn't mean testing every button every day, but it means proving your tool consistently does what it's supposed to do. And please check out FDA guidance for software validation. That really helps. Matteo Gubellini, our own regulatory affairs manager, says that one thing that he sees all the time is that companies scramble late and suffer for it. Prepare for it. Take the time. Start putting together your documents as you develop. If you don't know where to start with the intended use. Build everything up from there. User needs, requirements, risks, and so on. Use guidance documents. There is plenty of them for medical devices, and go through the notified body guidance documents as well, especially ones that actually detail how to structure your documentation according to their preference. And no, you cannot get certified in 3 months. You can't get your products CE marked in 3 months unless you have a time machine. So at least consider 9 months. And check out BSI's materials on how to prep for audits. And now, tip 6, and this also directly from the notified body auditor, Thomas Sturge himself. Talk to your notified body. Engage with them early on, because that is a really smart move. They will help you, and this is the way you can also avoid any surprises. BSI offers a structured dialogue process that allows general questions to be asked before you even sign the contract. So anything you want to ask about the conformity assessment, you can ask them there. And then once you have signed the contract, you get access to their dedicated interactive review pathway. This is a way where you can communicate with the auditors continuously. So a channel is set up for you, a kickoff meeting to understand how you can work together. And that will really help you prepare for the audit better. The reason why you need to sign a contract is that it helps stop notified body shopping. This is because a lot of companies are hoping for an easy, affordable notified body for their approval. But notified bodies all know that you're doing it because they're talking to each other. All right, let's move to EU AI Act. So the good news is that even if you have additional requirements, there will only be one CE mark. So AI Act piggybacks on MDR. But you still need to do what AI Act requires. You need to manage training data, you need to label it, version it, trace it, including development data according to the latest FDA's guidance, for example. You then also need to enable human oversight and transparency, explain how the AI reaches decisions, and allow human intervention where reasonable. And of course, start with guidance. Start with Team NB AI questionnaire, as well as the notified bodies have their own kind of guidance for how to meet AI Act requirements. So that's a really, really big, important step for the future. And then as software in our devices grow, so does the importance to cybersecurity. Check the cybersecurity either in penetration testing that might not be mandatory but is highly encouraged during development. Consider cybersecurity from the start of a design process to make sure that you are focused on it. So let's not wait until you are hacked to start actually putting together cybersecurity related documents and processes. We also asked our speakers about the funniest moment in an audit, and it turned out that one manufacturer claimed that they have pest control in the house in the body of a marten. So it was very, very funny, but unfortunately won't completely cut it. Final words from our experts. Don't underestimate regulatory burden. Investors have become regulatory savvy. They want to know about your intended use, regulatory strategy, and clinical trials. So be prepared for that. Also read MDR, read the guidance documents, and then reread your own documentation, see if they are working, and of course get in touch with notified body early on. And finally, if you have or considering AI in your medical device, think if your users really need it. If you can do the same without it, do it, because it will be a lot of additional regulatory overhead with it. So start early, define your intended use as a starting point, validate smartly, and prepare for the audits. Although your journey will be tough in medical device market, but you're not alone. There's a lot of guidance, there's a lot of support, and if you can't find any yourself, let us know, we'll help you. Thank you.